I'm kidding. It's okay.
Hey, I have to put up with Briscoe over there. I don't.
Mr. Chair, it is 6 o'clock. If you'd like to call the meeting to order.
Okay. Okay. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the September 21st Ward 4 NAB meeting. My name is Corey Bond. I am the chair, so welcome. I am going to go ahead and get started. Mr. Johnson, welcome to your first meeting.
Thank you.
As a favor, would you please lead us in the pledge?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson. Mr. Shaw, would you roll call, please?
Chair Bond,
Present.
Luck. Absent at this time. White,
Present.
Briscoe,
Present.
Johnson,
Present.
Southern,
Here.
Egan.
Present.
And Council Liaison Megan Ebert.
Present.
I am Staff Liaison Tyler Shaw. Mr. Chair, you have a quorum of the Ward 4 Neighborhood Advisory Board.
Thank you, Mr. Shaw. Okay, I want to make sure, ladies, I'm going to open it for public comment. So if you would like to speak, you're either welcome to come up here or stand, whichever you'd like to do. We will give you will be allowed 3 minutes if you have any comments. So with that, I will open that up.
Mr. Chair, we have Carol Cook and Diane Black who've asked to give their comments together. Since they're both giving comments, I'll allow them up to 6 minutes.
Okay.
Please state your name for the record before you speak.
Hello, everyone. My name's Diane Black. I'm a homeowner up in Golden Valley on the west end. And this is Carol Cook, who also owns her home. I contacted Megan Ebert some months back and I expressed the concerns that we had with the duplexes with the Reno Housing Authority. Because the children use the utility easement like a smoker's corner. We've had over the years, but particularly my area is being targeted. They try to pull the fence slats off. They throw rocks. I have a rock on top of my roof. I've had a rock on my deck. I've had footprints standing facing into my yard, which tomorrow I'm replacing for the slats, which as a good neighbor, Reno Housing Authority should be doing that too. It just seems like it's been a little better, but it's not completely better because the rock on top of my roof is within the last 2 months. Their aim is to break windows. And my neighbor's window has been broken and she's going to discuss that. I have contacted everyone on my street who is a homeowner. I have not contacted the one house that's a renter because they're not vested in the property like we all are. And their fence looks the worst. We have all experienced, one woman has had an egg thrown at her. We've all had trash thrown in our yards. They antagonize my dogs. I've got pictures. I've got pictures standing point blank at the fence, getting my dogs all slathered up into fence fighting. And I would like to see a barrier. I would like to see something done that could be constructive. It's not just punishment, but it would be blocking off the area. So it's not so easily used. It's like a backyard that nobody monitors. And I'm gonna clean my area, which it's not my property, but I'm gonna be pulling the weeds, picking the trash and replacing some fence slats. But I don't want a broken window and I'd like my dogs in the backyard so that I have my quality of life and my little homeowner. Because you know, I'm 65. I'm just an old lady that wants to enjoy her backyard. And I have put a camera up, so now I can identify, and it only shows my fence line. I could show anybody that's interested. It's not going into the duplexes. And I've had parents question me why. I tell them fence slats have been ripped off, rocks have been thrown, and there's been damage. And there's other neighbors that have had windows broken, other neighbors that have had graffiti on the utility boxes. And it's it's delinquent behavior. So we just would like to try and get, and I will get everybody together if it requires me to use all my energy to do so, which I don't really like doing, but I'm trying to organize everyone because together we're more powerful than individually. And this is my neighbor Carol Cook. She will tell you her experience.
Basically the same as what she said, though we did have a rock go through the window in our bedroom. The backside of our house has dried egg on it. They're constantly throwing garbage over. Some things to me that are a choking hazard to my dogs. I feel like they're trying to antagonize my dogs. And it's the worst it's ever been. I think we both lived in that neighborhood for 25 years.
Original owners.
Yeah, and
We have
No,
spoken with
occasionally-
the assistant manager, Tina.
yeah, I took a bunch of stuff to Reno Housing Authority, police report, pictures, and she said, we can't do anything unless you catch them in action. Well, I'm 66 years old. I'm not gonna scale over my fence. There's no other way to get around it. You know, so it's almost impossible. I'm thinking about buying a camera, but you know,
It's an expense.
an expense. So it's the same thing. I mean, it's, we get things occasionally thrown over through all these years. A toy, a kid would come to the front door and we get our whatever, that's fine. But this year it's been really bad. And the gal who's on the other side of me who got hit by the egg, she's walking her dog with her little girl and they pelted her. She was pregnant. They pelted her with an egg. And they were throwing junk over their fence. Well, they're a lot younger and the husband, I don't know, he must have scaled over the fence and he caught one of them, whoever was doing it. And they filed 2 police reports. So this is just us who, you know, have that easement in our back on Zinfandel Drive. So that's basically, we're just trying to come up with solutions other than we need to, you know, hike over our fence and tackle these kids down and, you know,
Yeah, yeah.
so.
Well, I have reached out to the city manager about it and he was, going to work with the housing authority manager. So, Tyler, can you follow up with them?
Yeah.
Because they were, you know, working on it. I'm not sure, you know, what their course of action is. We can inquire about putting a barrier in there and, you know, if there is windows being broken and property damage, you know.
I can follow up with our city manager, Doug Thornley, and I'll also follow up with RPD and look at the reports that have been filed, look at
Excellent.
a lot of the things that are going on that you're talking about, so you can get it in one place.
I can get you the house numbers. I actually have a copy of what I've given to some, I don't think what I sent Megan was quite as organized as what I eventually put together. But I actually have who we've contacted. I think I have all the housing units on it.
Yeah.
So every house on that street. And it's like 7 house owners. Well, 1 renter in that mix. So it's from 7918 to 7936. We're all impacted. And if we just had some kind of barrier in the easement, it would give us a buffer away from our fences.
Yeah, I'll set up a meeting, we can talk about it, pull it up on a map, look at exactly. what's
NV
going on.
Energy has the utility easement. They may be responsible. I'm not sure, but it's Reno Housing Authority property, not mine. If it was mine, I'd put a fence all the way out.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, there's a card, you can call me anytime.
You have an extra one?
Yes,
for
I
Carol?
do.
And that has your contact info on that sheet as
I
well?
believe it does. I
I've
believe
got put your phone number on the public comment.
I did.
Yeah, oh, I can see it, your phone number's on there.
I don't know.
No, I didn't put my contact information on
Well,
it.
it looked like there was a phone number at the top.
That's just the city.
That's yours.
Oh,
I
okay.
think she got all my stuff with pictures.
I have it from her emails. I have,
Will you forward it to him?
yeah.
Okay, or do you want me to just write it down real quick?
I'll come over and grab a pen. Is there anyone else who'd like to give public comment?
No, they do. They do.
Did you bring it?
Yeah.
There's a couple pictures that are left.
That's
on
okay.
what she
You can fill one out after you speak.
gave her. I've got copies at home, but the recent pictures of garbage over that are on the other.
That's her police report.
Phone number down on there?
Yeah, she gets.
Your email too. Sorry.
Before we have any comments.
So, yeah.
Hold on.
I mean, I'd love to see the kids get into something positive where they had something better to do than to break windows,
Yeah.
but
Yeah, we don't know what's going on and why it's just, this
I
year
think-
has been bad. It didn't
I think
matter.
big
if there
kids
was-
teach little kids.
I don't think my email address is online or teachers gonna contact.
We can understand too. Did you want to give public comment?
Sure.
Go ahead.
Did you want me to wait? Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Thank you. So regarding this issue, so we have a chance to respond to public comment on this issue.
Yeah, you can respond. You just can't deliberate on any action, but if you want to bring something back for a future agenda, like the next time we meet.
No, not for sure, for this. So my position is real estate administrator for Nevada Rural Housing Authority. So that is the sister of Reno Housing Authority. Or Nevada Rural Housing Authority, we manage affordable housing throughout everywhere that's not in the city. So we have our rural population. So just to let you know, the correct information needs to be coming to the Reno Housing Authority. Reno Housing Authority, just like Nevada Rural, we have rules and leases. We have information that tenants have to abide by. They also have Reno Housing Authority, they have a board, but they also have their director for their operations and their who manage the managers. There are security, each housing development that Reno Housing Authority manages their security cameras that they should or should not have that they manage. They also have security patrols and they manage, Reno Housing Authority Board and operations manage these situations.
Okay.
So because Nevada Energy is not going to put on a barrier in an easement, they're not. But the safety of the public and the safety for the residents is on Reno Housing Authority, security cameras, patrols, and also for doing lease violations. And there is a process that lease violations happen for if you have a picture and they can identify the kids who are involved, you have a description of the kids, you have pictures, that you give that to the manager and those tenants will get lease violations and they will lose their voucher for that location. And the assistant manager who may not have helped you, they have a supervisor, because I used to be that supervisor.
Okay, that's good.
This has been on, I've lived here 25 years. And we screwed the fence slats in so they could not take the fence slats off. We do not nail, we screw. And that makes it a greater challenge. And your process is bureaucratic and bureaucratic is very slow.
The
This
process
is very
is legal.
stressful.
It's right, and this is a legal process that these tenants have legal right to live there if they do not violate. So the legal process with tenants and with police reports, the legal process is if there's a police report filed against someone who is identified as a lease violation and they will be evicted.
That's the problem. What if they don't identify them?
You have to identify them. So identifying through security cameras, which is the responsibility of the building owner.
Okay.
The building owner is responsible for security cameras and security patrols. If there is identified issue, which you have police reports.
Okay.
Excuse me, yeah. The Flight Society, there's no security. This is after hours. This is occurring
Yes.
constantly.
Okay,
Yes, and
okay,
this is
okay.
when
Your broken window was a Sunday.
Yes,
Okay.
and this is exactly 24/7 security for the owners of the building. Reno Housing Authority is responsible to do this. And maybe a call from you didn't help, but a call from the city manager from the city, that's where this action, do you see the people,
Yeah.
the action to get people who should be taking care of this problem?
And security would be helpful.
Yes, and they're responsible 24/7 for the safety and security of the citizens.
I've spent $200 on cameras.
So this is where this action absolutely, then they can call the right people from behind the scenes saying we have police reports, we have this, and this is where we can get momentum from their side
Okay.
as well. Yeah, so thank you. And the best thing you did was, which people don't want to do, the best thing you did was filing the police report.
Okay, okay.
So thank
Yeah,
you.
the gal needs to new, as I said, is filed too.
And the woman on the other corner
Okay.
at Golden Valley in Zippendale has filed one also.
Okay, ladies, I apologize. I'm not trying to be rude, but we got other people, so. And I will remind everybody, please make sure you identify yourself for the record. Because otherwise I get yelled at by their boss, so.
No one
please-
yelled at me.
Please remember
You were in
that.
violation
Okay.
of the charter when you made that statement. So,
What,
and I
what
did
violation?
confirm with the city clerk that we do have rules and we are gonna have a training going forward.
But the names are in nobody identified, but the names are in the minutes from last meeting. so
That's
they're-
why we're supposed to do that, because the clerks are not clairvoyant. We're lucky that they knew who the people were in that meeting, but when people give public comment, okay, there, it is in the charter and we will be having training for that going
Okay.
forward, okay?
Okay, Ms. Deb, go ahead, please.
Hi, so my name is Becky Flannery. I was born and raised
Or
here.
Becky, I'm sorry. I
Nice to
apologize.
meet you. I actually grew up right across the freeway here. We've seen tremendous growth, way overgrowth for, obviously our roads for freeways and DOT. Are we doing anything to widen Virginia Street up here by the warehouses? Anything? We need some relief out here. There's wrecks every single day. Yesterday, Tuesday, there was 3 of them out here, one involving a school bus. Just every day, and it's taking us forever, and a lot of us are getting worried, like when it snows, we didn't hardly have any snow plows last year. What is gonna be done to give us some sort of relief out here, because it's so constant. And the road rage out here, the videos I see on the North Valley's page, just people hightailing it on the shoulder. There was some guy driving between the on-ramp of Lemon Valley and the normal lanes, and then he cut over to the shoulder and took that to Golden. Like, it's becoming maniacal out here. And it's like a battle zone just for the rest of us that are like from here or even been here for a very long period of time. Like 3 years ago, it wasn't even this bad. I don't know what's going on and why we're growing so fast that the freeway system and the side roads are not keeping up. We have no way out. It takes us forever to even go down Virginia, and the lights are not timed properly. And it's just like a whole circus show in the morning to just go to work. So I don't know if we have any relief coming this way, or like what the city of Reno is planning to do to help us, because you just had to deal with that coming here. It's
Yeah.
every single day
Yeah,
of just insane amounts of traffic and wrecks and road rage and just, it's really kind of getting scary out here. And I'm from here. So, but I lived out by Seattle for a while too, and the traffic actually flowed. I don't know what's going on, but like, is there some kind of, do we get any relief anytime soon? Because we see road projects everywhere, but not here that
yeah,
are beneficial. And a lot of people are just getting really frustrated that, it shouldn't take me an hour to do a 5-minute drive. Last winter, it would take me 3 hours to get to work in Moana from Cold Springs. So I didn't used to have that problem because, we drive in the snow all the time. But I don't know, just wondering if we're getting some kind of a relief, or if there's some kind of like hope we can look forward to, instead of just more buildings and warehouses and apartments and houses and people. There's like not really bus routes, like we don't have a lot of options out here. So I just don't know if there's any relief coming our way. And by the way, I saw a meeting with you and I super appreciate you for standing up for us. So thank you very much.
you're welcome.
Appreciate
Yeah.
your passion for us out here.
Yeah, so Megan Ebert for the record, just to let you know, there are plans for widening Virginia Street, North Virginia. And there are plans for widening the 395. They are different agencies are responsible for different roads. So NDOT's responsible for the 395. RTC is responsible for Virginia Street, and then City of Reno is responsible for other roads. So they're trying to schedule projects so that they're not all happening at once, because if they were widening Virginia Street and the 395 at the same time, we'd all just die out here, right? So they're doing 395 widening first, and that will go up to Golden Valley. That'll be phase 1. Then they're gonna work on Virginia Street, and then they're gonna at a later phase work on widening 395 up to, I believe it's Cold Springs. And we're actually having RTC and NDOT at our next NAB in October come and give a presentation to discuss those things specifically. And also it's a great time for us to give feedback. We're also going to have some city engineers here available to listen to public feedback about our city roads, and also talk about, city roads that are going to have work done on them. So like Military Road, there's going to be widening and other traffic calming things that are potentially going to be done there. I think there's going to be traffic studies done to determine what that's going to look like, whether it's gonna be traffic signals, roundabouts, a combination thereof, and where those things should be placed. So just know that those things are absolutely being planned for and being worked on. And again, those people are coming to our October NAB specifically to give updates on those things.
That meeting be here.
Here, yeah, in October. So, and do we have the date? for that?
I believe it's October 19th. Yep.
So October 19th.
Thursday, October
Please
19th.
come back then and we'll have a, much more substantial update. And some of the dates I've been given have shifted a little bit because sometimes, there's different funding and things like that. And there's a huge RTC project where they're gonna be widening Lemon, like way further back. They did the project for the Lemon Drive on-ramp and off-ramp and widened it up to Military. They're gonna be widening past Military now up to, I don't know where it ends, but they're gonna be doing a lot of improvements on Lemon Drive too. So there's a lot of projects happening, being scheduled and just like I said, coordinating so that we're not just getting squeezed from every direction at once, trying to make sure that we do them smart. And then also, I'm trying to work to figure out, when we're approving these developments, how to manage that with road widenings and things like that. So like, for example, Military Road, they're doing development on either side of the road. They've put in curbs as part of the development, but we know we're gonna be widening Military Road. So
Seems like a waste of money.
exactly. So the developer put those in, but it's something that's gonna be likely have to be pulled out to accommodate the widening. So trying to figure out those things, like if we know we're gonna be doing the widening, coordinate that with the developers so they're not putting something in that's just gonna be torn out later, if possible, just to kind of save that effort and expense, for everyone. So just something that's kind of a personal cause for me, just so that it's on the radar. Okay.
Do we have like any sort of like a time?
They'll have the timeframe
Okay.
updates, and some of the projects have gotten moved up actually because of, feedback. A lot of, frankly, me complaining about stuff too, and public feedback. So if you guys show up and give your personal feedback too, that's the forum to do that, to let them know. So please come back October
I will.
19th, Thursday, October
Tell
19th.
your friends.
I will.
October 19th.
Okay, okay,
Yeah.
I try to get everybody on our street.
okay,
Yeah,
folks, I'm sorry, I've got,
sorry.
oh, that's fine,
Sorry.
that's fine.
Is there anyone else in the room who'd like to give public comment?
Mr. Shaw, I will get to that, I'm not forgetting. Anybody else have comments? Okay, Mr. Shaw, I'm going to hold off on A4. I wanna,
I have to check Zoom really quick. Is there anyone on Zoom who'd like to give public comment? If you'd like to give public comment on Zoom, please use the raise hand button at the bottom of your Zoom window to indicate if you'd like to speak. Good. Okay. We have no further public comment, Mr. Chair.
thank you. Okay, so anyway, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna hold off on A4 and 5 and go to B1. So the captain can get out of here. So Cap, go ahead.
What do you want me?
Just wherever you feel comfortable, sir.
Okay, for the record, I'm John Mandel, Battalion Chief, Reno Fire Department. See you again tonight. I'm here filling in for Chief Cochran. He asked me to stop by. He couldn't make it tonight. So
Give him our regards, please.
What's that? Oh, regards. Yes, I will.
Yes,
As soon as he get back, he's gonna be back in town next week. He's gone for a while.
okay.
But he asked me to come give an update on a couple of things going on with the fire department and then answer any questions you guys may have for me. The first update he wanted me to pass on was the hiring of 24 new firefighters.
Wow. Great, very good.
It's been a long, we're finally up at seats. So I checked this morning, we have 303 full-time employees now. It's still not where it was before the Great Recession, but we're getting back and slowly adding positions back. Which is sorely needed, because I just checked this morning as well. We had already over 35,000 calls for service this year. It's last year's 45,000, I think was the total. Just for reference, when I started 19 years ago, we were running about 18 to 20,000 calls a year. So In my career, our call volume's doubled. So the new people help a lot to help distribute the workload and help relieve some tired and injured firefighters. And we're supposed to be having another academy next year. I don't know the numbers yet, but sounds like a new academy next year as well. And those 24 new firefighters on the street already. They did a 4-month academy and then they hit what we call the line, but they're out on the fire engines now, running calls and doing work with us starting as of July 2nd. So they are out there working and contributing now. The other topic was the single role paramedic program. It varies, but every year 65 to 70% of our calls for service, our emergency calls, are medical calls. And so we're trying to figure out ways to help decrease the workload on our firefighters and do it in a cost-effective way. And one of those ways was to it's an ambulance, looks just like an ambulance, but it has 2 paramedics that are not firefighters on it, but they work for Reno Fire Department. And they're stationed out of Station 3 right now. We have 1 and hopefully can grow this program, but they help run medical calls and take the workload off the fire engines and ladder trucks. Currently have, I think we're up to 9. We just hired 1, so we can start next month. So we'll have 9 single role paramedics as of next month. So trying to grow that program to help alleviate the medical call volume that we're going on. And the third thing you wanted me to let you guys know about is the new central fire station. For this first time in the late 2000s, where plans are underway for a new fire station 1 in downtown Reno. That will be where the police station currently is, between 2nd and Coonsley, right by the river there. So once they vacated that building, then we get that property to build our new fire central headquarters, which will be amazing. With the museum and a great gym and all sorts of things we haven't had since 2008-ish. So it's very exciting, and I've seen we have basic plans drawn up and some mock-ups of the building. It looks really awesome. So it's exciting to finally have a new central fire station in the works, but it'll still be a little while for that process to happen. And that was all the 3 points you wanted me to pass on to you guys. I'm happy to answer any questions that anybody may have.
Okay, first of all, I'm gonna go to my dais. So John, go ahead.
I just wanted you to mention,
For you,
John Briscoe. You mentioned, about filling in all the leaks. Are you get a budget from the city? Have you used up all that budget, or you still have money for more positions?
No, we use up the budget, everything they give us every year. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, asking for increases in budgets like every department, I believe, probably is doing, but
Wouldn't be doing your job if you didn't, I'm sure.
yeah, we fill the budget, not just in personnel, but apparatus and station repair. We fill every penny of that budget. Yeah,
Okay, thank you.
yes.
okay.
Ben Johnson, you said you had 303 full-time employees. Is that what you're allocated for, 303, or are you projected that you want to have 350, or is it that number where you're at?
I don't know exactly what we're allocated for. That's kind of a floating number. I mean, I know the chief is targeting a lot more positions. I mean, we need another 30 to 50 to get back to where we were in the 2000s.
Okay.
We need probably another 30 to 50. I haven't looked the numbers, so our numbers fluctuate.
Yeah.
We're at 3 and 3 now. We have a lot of retirees, a lot of people go on medical, so we have a lot of, the numbers go up and down a lot for us. So I don't know what allotted per se is I don't know a number that we're allotted. I do know that we need at least another 30 to get back to where we used to be.
That's the goal number, 330,
What I've heard
340?
Chief Cochran say, yeah, in public is that,
Okay.
yeah.
Thank
We
you.
could definitely we still have 2 ladder truck companies that were shut down in the recession that still haven't opened up, and Squad Company, and so that's 36 people right there that were short from 2000, whatever that was, 8, 9, can't remember.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Ben. Anybody? Jared?
I am Jared Souther. I just wanted to say thank you. The question that I have is regarding the central station. Will that close out the station that's based at Grand Sierra, or is there any other stations that potentially would be built or relocated in the next 3 to 5 years?
That's the only station to be built in the next 3 to 5 years, under my understanding, but it will relocate Station 1, which is a temporary station at 4th and Valley, East 4th Street and Valley.
Yeah.
As a temporary station, that will be shut down. I don't know what they're gonna do with that land, but yeah, Station 1 will move there. And then administrative offices and fire prevention offices that are on City Hall, in City Hall currently will be moved to the fire headquarters. Station 21 of the Grand Sierra will still be there.
One follow-up question is the collaboration that happens between Truckee Meadows Fire District and Reno Fire District. Is there anything that is still being talked about in merging the two different organizations, or how that works in a growing community that we have?
That is way above my pay grade. My level, that is not being talked about at all. That is up in the politicians' level. And if they're having talks now, I don't know.
Darn politicians.
I see mutual aid. I understand mutual aid's
Mutual aid,
changed, or
automatic aid.
those different agreements, but you see, yeah, just the different areas here in the North Valleys where one station's closer to the other kind of thing as far as responding to calls.
Yeah, specifically instead, station is pretty seamless as far as automatic aid, which is the difference with automatic aid and mutual aid is automatic aid happens automatically, it's the name, but at dispatch of the call or mutual aid, we have to ask for it once the call's already happened. So automatic aid's a lot quicker. And station 9 out instead has an automatic aid with the Truckee Meadows station, which they changed their number, and I forget what it is, but so there's a lot of automatic aid out there, so that's not too much of a concern out there. There is automatic aid agreements where both engines will be sent pretty quickly. I don't know if that answers your question too much, but yeah, there is a lot of merging of fire departments nationwide. I mean, I know that's a trend nationwide, but I don't know where we're at in that at all.
Thank you.
Chief, what I would ask is, sorry, I caught myself, Corey Bond for the record. Chief, if you could have somebody look into it, and maybe Jared, if you want to give him your information, then you can contact, reach out if you can find that information, if that's what you want.
So far, I answered all my questions.
Okay. Okay, all right. Anybody else? Chief, thank you very much. And like I said, please give our regards to Chief Cochran and thank him for everything you guys do for us. So
Appreciate it. Thank you guys for what you're doing right now, right here. Appreciate it.
thank you.
Have a great night.
Okay, now I'm going to go back to A4. So I would ask for a motion to approve the agenda.
Before we take a motion to approve the agenda, Mr. Chair, item B2, training by City of Reno staff on Neighborhood Advisory Board meeting conduct is going to be pushed to the October meeting.
Right.
So that won't be happening tonight.
Okay,
But if you could take a motion to approve the agenda as amended,
okay.
go from there.
Okay, so as Mr. Shaw said, I will entertain a motion to approve the agenda with the conditions that you mentioned.
Chair Southers, I made a motion that.
Okay,
Yeah.
Second.
and you are
Second.
John White. Okay, all in favor, say aye. Any opposed? No. Okay. A5, anything, Mr. Shaw?
A5 is approval of the minutes. There's the minutes from June 15th and July 20th up for approval, please.
But no amendments or anything?
I have no amendments, but if any of you have any amendments, please let me know.
Okay, so then I will entertain an approval of the minutes.
So moved. John Briscoe.
Okay, second,
John White, second.
okay, all in favor, say aye. Aye. No opposed? Okay, we are at A6 and that is Councilman Ebert.
So updates, I kind of gave a update, sorry, Councilwoman Ebert for the record. RTC, NDOT and City of Reno engineers will be at our October NAB to get to give updates on upcoming road projects in Ward 4, which I'm very happy about. It's not easy to get NDOT to come to a NAB, so really hopeful that we get a lot of community to show up for this and ask questions and provide feedback. We also did do our final vote on the new ward map, so those new maps are official. They're available on the City of Reno .gov website if you are interested and would like to see those new maps. They are now available. They won't take effect though until after the next election in 2024. So new lines are drawn, but not effective until 2024, end of 2024, basically. What would it be, November?
Yeah, it's November twenty twenty-four,
Yeah.
after the election.
And I don't know what the election date's gonna be yet, but after November 2024. Other updates, that was it, I think. Trying to remember. I don't have my notes with me from the meeting. Yeah, that was the big one. I'm really excited about NDOT and RTC being here. There's a lot that's gonna be coming here. Oh, the air races. It was the final air races this last weekend. And we had that, the two planes that crashed into each other, which is, really tragic. Hopefully nobody here was there and saw it.
I saw it.
Oh, no, I'm so sorry. Really a tragedy. There is supposed to be an air show next year. Instead, no word on if this crash will have any impact on that planned event. But really my heart goes out to the families that lost their loved ones. And, I think we're all sad that this event is going away. I know it's had, kind of a historical kind of impact on the city of Reno. I know it's really going to be missed. But just want to, acknowledge that this last weekend was the last weekend that happened. So anyhow.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Shaw, before you give your report, and I apologize, Corey Bond, I apologize, I should have done it sooner. But please, folks, let's give a moment of silence for the victims. I would ask that, please. Okay, thank you very much. Mr. Shaw, it is your turn, sir.
Thank you, Tyler Shaw, Community Liaison for the record. I've got a few updates for all of you. One of them, Councilmember Ebert talked about a little, but I'm going to talk about a little more just to make sure. Redistricting. So the City Council completed the redistricting process by adopting the ordinance that updates the official city ward map. And the map will take effect, like we said, in November of 2024. Once the new Ward 6 council member is elected. If you are interested in more information, you can go to reno.gov/redistricting. And it's got all the maps up there. You can see the new map and compare it to the old map. You can, zoom in on both, see what's changed. You can see what ward you'll be in once the map takes effect. And it's got some more information on there about the process and everything that happened. And it also has contact information for city staff if you have further questions about the process or anything that happened. That's my first update. My second update, the Regional Public Safety Training Center would like to submit the shooting range special use permit notification. The Safety Training Center will be operating the shooting range from 5 p.m. to possibly 2 a.m. in order to save overtime costs. RPD will be completing the mandatory training for graveyard officers on these days. This notice is a mandatory part of their special use permit to make sure residents are aware that you might be hearing some loud noises at strange hours if you live close to the training center.
Can you tell us where the training center is?
I can look it up. I don't know the actual, oh, I do. It's 5190 Spectrum Boulevard.
Spectrum?
I think it's up off,
Park Boulevard,
Par.
but TMCC.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Megan Ebert, for the record, when is this, did you say it's a temporary license
Or it's part of their special use permit when they
Okay.
were approved, but the actual notification is for November 13th, 15th, 20th, and 27th. So on those nights.
do they apply for a special use permit every time they do this? Is this like a
It was,
the usual thing that they do, or?
I believe it was a condition of their approval, originally when it was built. So this is something that they've had to do in the past. And I think they normally try to avoid it, of course, because it can be disruptive to residents.
Yeah.
But, they're gonna try and train all the graveyard officers at once. And to avoid overtime, and taxpayer costs, they're gonna do it during their regular shift, which unfortunately is at night.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
And then my final update, the next Ward 4 Neighborhood Advisory Board meeting will be on Thursday, October 19th. In this same place at 6 p.m. And like Councilmember Ebert said, we're gonna have some pretty good presentations. So tell your friends, come and watch the meeting. It's gonna be a good one. Does anyone have any questions for me?
Okay, hold on.
Kathleen Egan.
Okay, hold on. So I do real quick. I'm just a quick comment. Corey Bond, you're right. I walked out of my house once and it was like pop, pop, pop. What the? And then it dawned on me what it was. So yes, Miss Egan.
Ebert. Oh, Egan, sorry. I get my name butchered so much. That's a knee-jerk reaction. I'm sorry.
No problem. Go ahead.
You've been promoted.
Kathleen Egan Ebert, for the record. The very, very important, I'm glad to see advisory board, training, because coming to the board, you're welcome, but kind of learn by seeing, but we've never given like a pack, and I've been on the board, how many times now? Second, and I've been on the CAB as well.
Mhm.
And you don't get a packet of information or some background information. And I think written some information would be helpful
Mhm.
for new people coming on, and also reminder people that have been for a while. And my only comment is, today would have been a really great time because we didn't have any other presentations. I'm worried that next month it's going to be such with RTC. I mean, that's really the focus and the timeline. Is this something that needs to be done as a public forum because it's an open meeting law issue for training?
Mhm.
And if it is, can we have anything, written materials in advance to study or learn about and then shorten the time? I'm thinking the next meeting is gonna be really long.
Yeah,
I can answer that. Councilmember Ebert, for the record. So it was going to be scheduled for tonight, but there was a little bit of confusion between myself and staff as to the direction I wanted to go in. I wanted to have training and also like a one-sheeter that we could have for everyone to just keep. So like code of conduct, rules, just things that we need to follow, just bare minimum things that we need to follow, but also training, because we do have new people joining, and our chair, Mr. Bond, has termed out, so we will have a new chair at some point, in a few months here. So just whoever fulfills that role, we'll need some kind of training there for whoever that ends up being. So it was going to be tonight. I spoke with our city clerk today, and just because we were not going to have everything prepared that I would like, we moved it to next week, but we can push it back later. It doesn't have to be next week. And I agree, there is going to be a lot going on, and we don't necessarily want our meeting to go till like 10 o'clock at night. So I'll ask if we could push it back a little further. I'll see if we can get the one-sheeter in advance and then do the training. And then that way we have that, if people can look at it. If you have questions, you'll be ready to go for when we have the training. You can, have your notes to ask the clerk or whatever clerk's representative is here to do the training. So I'll ask if we can push it back another month. Okay, and we might have another board member. I mean, we have vacancies. I'm always looking for people to join. If anybody here would like to join the NAB, we have open spots. If you'd like to submit an application, Tyler can get that to you. We always need new people, so.
Just to follow, is it possible that they could do the training for all the wards at the same time?
They're actually going to be doing it at each individual NAB. It's not going to be like all the NABs get together, but they are going to go through and do.
No, I understand it. Why not just have one training session for all the NABs at the same time? Would be more efficient.
I can't speak to that. That's going to be the
Just
clerk's
throwing it out.
decision to do that, and probably coordinating. The more people you have involved, the more difficult it is to get everybody's schedule coordinated. I think, the NABs are going to be at their scheduled NAB time. So people are already prepared to be there. If, scheduling a different meeting, then you have, exponentially more people's schedules to coordinate. So, yeah.
All right,
Jared Souther for the record, I will say that last year we did actually have a joint NAB where they did this training, I feel. But yeah, very respectful of your thoughts there, and that having individualized opportunities for each to speak and learn in an environment is good too. So thank you.
Are there any other questions?
anybody else? Okay, item D, future agenda items. Anybody have anything?
Actually, I want to step back.
And you are-
Jared Souther still speaking.
Thank you.
I actually wanted to comment on the community cleanup project that took place in the last, was it 30 days or so?
Yeah.
My wife was able to take quite a bit from our garage and
Cool.
including some electrical e-waste, which was much appreciated. And so thank you for being there. Unfortunately, I had to take care of a trip to waste management on the same day, but it feels good to know that things are not being taken out to Peavine Mountain or elsewhere to be dropped, that we could have that cleanup. So looking forward to the next one as well.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, we had a great turnout. It was just constant, well, Megan Ebert for the record, just constant flow. And then right about the end time, people stopped showing up. So it was great to not have to turn anyone away, not to run out of dumpster space before people, stop showing up. So it was really, it's nice to know the city has it nailed down. How many dumpsters need to be there, how long the event needs to be. It really worked out great. So just, great job, city staff. They really know what they're doing with that. So good job, everybody.
Okay, Corey Bond for the record. I will go back to C real quick. Speaking of that, we do have one this weekend. It is Saturday morning. It was initially supposed to be at Reno Town Mall. My understanding was there was a conflict, so now it's being moved to Manzanita Park, which anybody that is familiar with that area, it's about 3-4 miles from, or something like 2 miles from the mall. So the hours are 8 to 12, and
It's 9 to 12, sorry.
okay, thank you. 9 to 12, okay. And so it's a great opportunity. For me personally, it's gonna be my third one. Councilwoman Ebert wrangled me into the first one. I did help Councilwoman Breckus with the second one at Echo Loader, and same thing, we had great response. So it's very, very popular and people are extremely happy with it. So I encourage anyone here and the thing is, folks, the other thing I want to mention is you can bring anything, even if you live in Ward 4, it's not specific to, Mr. Shaw, help me. You know what I'm trying to say.
So the cleanup this Saturday is the Ward 2 community cleanup, which is South Reno. But they don't check your ID. You don't need to bring your bill, and they take people from anywhere. So if you have stuff in your yard that you want to get rid of, like Corey was saying, hazardous waste, like paint, e-waste, things like flat screen TVs, appliances, or just regular trash, you can still bring it here at no charge, and that's a service provided by the Reno City Council. But that'll be this Saturday from 9 to 12 at Manzanita Park.
I'm hearing there's also a yard cleanup through waste management.
Ma'am, could you identify
Oh,
yourself?
sorry, my name is Becky. Yeah, I've heard something about I think it's waste management doing the yard cleanup. Do you guys know anything about that?
No, unfortunately, I don't know anything about a yard cleanup. I'm so sorry.
So Corey Bond, so basically the thing is it's not done by wards. So anybody can go. There is a list and you can check the city's website and it will it specifies what is allowed, what is not. We take tires, appliances like Mr. Shaw said, so Like I said, if you're so inclined, 9 to 12 on Saturday. Hmm,
Yep, at Manzanita
Correct.
Park.
correct.
And if you just, Tyler Shaw, Community Liaison for the record, if you just Google City of Reno Community Cleanups, the very first thing that comes up is a website that has a list of all the fall cleanups with the locations, the times, and then it's got a breakdown of what items are accepted, what items are not accepted, and contact information if you want to be a volunteer.
That answered, she had a question, but
Okay,
nobody was seeing her hand. That
I just
answered
wanted to
it.
make sure, this is Carol Cook, I wanted to make sure there was still one at UNR. It appears to be.
Cory Bond, I know exactly, I know from Manzanita only because I'm volunteering, but yes, the other two, as far as I understand, are still scheduled. Mr. Shaw, unless you have something else, but I'm not volunteering at them, but like I said, I am volunteering this Saturday, so there is that. Ms. Egan, and I said Egan. Egan, go
Chair.
ahead.
I just want to confirm we're still on C, agenda item C
Yes, ma'am.
for board.
Yes.
Okay, Kathleen Deegan for the record. I wanted to bring up an issue to the council member person, Hubert, and also for liaison, because you know how to work behind the scenes and reach people. So as a citizen here at our NAB, we've done a really, really good job of trying to promote direct 211 for all of our needs, whether it's a pothole, whatever we need. And we've been trying to do that for the last few years of really teaching our neighbors how to use that system. The system has shut down their phone line, even though it's still on the city website. They actually don't have anyone that answers. It's the offices.
Reno Direct or?
Reno Direct.
Okay, okay,
Reno Direct.
okay.
You call but the number is still listed to call on the website. However, when you call, the office is closed. And the only way to submit a Reno Direct for these issues is to go on a computer. Now, I'm pretty savvy at computers. My grandmother is not. I'm pretty savvy. And for me to go through the experience of the online to submit the form itself, I was able to navigate. However, after I did that and received the automated feedback that a case number, the next, maybe 6 hours later, I received an email that my case was closed. So I called the number to say, the abandoned RV is still in the parking lot. Why is the case closed? And the only way to contact them is you have to submit another case. So I submit another case and I received an automated with a new case number that they have referred my case from to parking enforcement because occupied vehicles is not their department to tow. However, my report said it was abandoned. And I had pictures. So they closed the case. So since they sent it to parking enforcement, I was on the Reno City site, able to find, because there's no email for Reno Direct on the website. Trust me, I found it. I'm persistent. There is on the Reno website, parking enforcement, an email. So I emailed that department, I forwarded what they said, and I said, please help me. I can't contact anybody in person in this department. It's not occupied. I have pictures showing it's abandoned inside. Parking enforcement was very nice. Within 20 minutes, replied back to me and said, "You're correct. If it's abandoned and not occupied, it is not our department. It is Reno Direct. You need to submit to Reno Direct." Third time, I go back, I submit to Reno Direct. Okay. And I get an email back saying case closed, it's being forwarded to parking enforcement. Not parking enforcement, code enforcement. So now we've gone to now code enforcement, but no information. So I look online, who is code enforcement? I don't even know who this is. But the wonderful people in your parking enforcement department, when I asked, is there a direct email for direct? And they said, yes, there is. Here it is. Nowhere on the website, but whoever the non-staff person at parking gave me that. So my next step after this, and the case was closed, I sent an email to Councilwoman Naomi Dewar because this issue is in Ward 2. And also to their liaison
Excuse me, for the record, Tyler Shaw, Community Liaison.
and their liaison. And to all the emails that I had, and I said, please help me. And this is someone who, I know technology, I know how to go to Google and find a thing. How do you close a case for 4 days in a row? And this anonymous Reno Direct that no phone number, no email, just your case is closed. Within 45 minutes, I mean, the last with Naomi and thanking you, code enforcement was at my office within 45 minutes. And the code enforcement contradicted what Reno Direct said. Reno Direct said it wasn't there because it was on private property. Code enforcement officer, actually, if it's in public view, if it's an danger to a public, it's in a parking lot, it's in view of the public, it's an endanger, and it's a fire hazard, and children in the public, and does this fall under the city to contact? And that wonderful, wonderful code enforcement officer, he was so nice, he was so helpful. I gave him the information for the HOA that's responsible for this. He contacted the HOA and the RV is still there. However, the code enforcement gave a violation order to make the HOA, this has to be done, it has to be done by the state. And then after that, I received an email from one of the enforcement, very, very nice email, just very polite, within that day, I received an email. So the people, when I was able to directly work with the city of Reno, were wonderful, helpful, knowledgeable. That was wonderful. However, I feel I'm persistent. Many other people would have given up on foreclosed cases and no. So there has to be a way for on your website, if there should have been an email, or if you're going to list a phone number on the website for a department, then have that department open or have your webmaster take off that phone number. There's got to be an easier way for our public to, because this is the complaint of this bureaucracy and we can't get through, and how do we get through? So that we're just gonna complain on Facebook and next door neighbor app. So I wanted to thank you for the help, but also that feedback of what we can do to connect people to get these issues resolved and not be mad at the city. Because you individual people are wonderful when we can get to you. So thank you, and thank you, Naomi Dewar, and vote for her in the next election. I didn't say that. Kathleen, for the record.
Okay, Corey Bond for the record, and mind you, I'm not arguing, I'm just saying, I know for Reno Direct, there is a number. Unfortunately, they put you on hold, but it does. Okay.
I'm sorry, Chair. I'm sorry, Chair. I called for 4 days and I'm telling you, the number says the office is closed.
Okay. I just said, I'm not arguing, I'm just,
Stating a fact. Thank you.
okay, that's not, okay. All right,
Sorry, Jared Souther, quick question. Can you clarify, do you know if the office has changed their model recently and to help us understand, is it a cost saving issue or is it that their phone IT system crashed and they don't know that line's not being answered right now?
Yeah, is it a glitch?
Tyler Shaw, Community Liaison for the record. This is the first time I've heard that feedback, so I really appreciate you bringing it up and letting us know. As far as I'm aware, they are answering their phones during business hours. Do you remember if you have like a log of the times you called and the number, I can take that to them and figure out what's going on. But their offices are open and the phone number is working during regular business hours. I believe it's 9 to 4. You can call and reach a person. If you call outside those business hours, you can leave them a voicemail. They listen to the voicemails, they'll log your complaint and reach back out. But I really appreciate you bringing that up and we'll get together and.
For the record, 4 days in a row, between the hours of working hours, 9 and 4 at different times and not at lunch hour, the message, and that is why I had to reach out to find an email. So if the phone systems were down, I understand things, computers and glitches happen. This happened for 4 days in a row last week between the hours of 9 and 4.
Councilmember Ebert for the record. So the message said that the office was closed or, okay,
Yes.
okay,
The office is closed. Submit online.
okay.
Is this the number that you called that you know? Because I kept my little brochure,
Nice.
775-334-4636.
I'm sorry, ma'am, Kathleen Jean Frickard. I don't have that memorized, but if you Google it right now on the City of
I
Reno
have the
page,
pamphlet.
where it says.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay,
Chairman, what item are we on?
okay. Folks, let's take a break a minute, step back. Okay, young lady, just remember, say your name first.
Okay. Diane Black. And I just wanted to know if the pamphlet matches the phone number on the website, because I don't want to have the same problem if I use that number. Because that would be very frustrating, and thank you for sharing that. So we're aware.
Hopefully it's working now, Catherine Egan.
Mr. Shaw,
I believe it is the same number, Diane, sorry. Tyler Shaw, Community Liaison for the record. I believe it is the same phone number.
Yeah, this has been my handy little guide.
All sorts of good stuff in there.
okay, so we are going to move to item E. And that is going to be public comment. So ladies and sir, if you have anything you'd like to say, just go ahead and for the record, and you've got 3 minutes. Ms.
Well,
Black,
I walk my dogs every day.
your name.
Diane Black.
Thank you.
I walk my dogs every day because they're the apple of my life. You know, I love them to pieces, BLM. What's better than being able to walk the hills up there in Golden Valley? I mean, I love it. It's a beautiful area. Until you come to the trash and you come to the homeless that are encamped and so forth. But one thing that I noticed is that we have a park and recreation that cannot open the bathroom because it gets vandalized. And I understand that's a concern. But I have a concern that people are camping out and they don't have proper facilities. So their only recourse is to use the bushes. And I'm also concerned when I walk by because I never know who or what's going to be in the vehicles. So, you know, my dogs are on a leash, they would protect me. I'm wondering if in our cleanup, if we could ever have a dumpster directly at the park. And maybe stay there for people to put their trash in, because up by Raleigh Heights Regional Park and the water tanks, people dump their trash. And there's no place for them to really put trash. Some people intentionally go out there to dump. I don't know where they're coming from, households, renters, I don't know. Some people are encamped and they leave their stuff behind. We have a spot where a guy had a tent, he had a dresser, he had all the things you might have in a little teeny studio, and it's still there. It just gets trashed. So I'm wondering, you know, maybe a community cleanup where we go out there by that area and pick up the broken dressers and TVs and the various things that have been left up by the water towers. But if there's any possible way of having resources available at the park where maybe the bathroom can be opened up, you advertise if you're gonna encamp, please use the facilities and arrangements will be made so you can use them. I don't know. I know vandalism is a problem. So I know there's problems with leaving park bathrooms open.
The Councilmember Ebert for the record. So there's a lot of pieces there, right? So
Sure.
there's parts of the area out here that are city and parts that are county, and
Correct.
there's a lot of. You need to actually look at the map to know what's what. And
I do
I
know.
know that, you know, I've driven around and sometimes I'm just patrolling the area to look for things that need to be submitted, just to keep things clean. And I'll go to submit and it'll say that's county because we're such a, you know, patchwork out here.
Right.
So there might be areas that we just can't, we don't have the authority to go in and do anything for. It could be
Sure,
county
sure.
land. The other piece is if it's private property, again, we're limited to what we could do as a city. To Kathleen's point, code enforcement, if it's, you know, private property and it's a fire hazard, then code enforcement can cite the private property owner, but then it's a private property owner's responsibility to clean up those things, the dressers, the mattresses, whatever it is.
It's county, it's Forest Service, county, and the park itself is Reno's.
So then the appropriate contact would be county for the county area.
Reno for the Reno area.
Exactly.
And I've done that.
Yeah, at Reno Direct. And I don't know that we necessarily want to just have dumpsters in our parks and encourage people to use our parks as dumping grounds, to be frank. I think it's great that we have our community cleanup days, but I think there's a reason why it's not every single weekend, right?
Right.
So we have these resources, and then also Reno Direct. If there is a bunch of stuff dumped in a city park, we need to use Reno Direct, which is why it's so important to have a phone number that's working during regular business hours and the online tool working correctly so that people can report it. So those are our community resources to address those problems. And yeah, again, county's gonna be county, city's gonna be city, and
I've
Reno
counted.
Direct is the best way to get.
And I've used
contact
it.
For that.
And I've used
Yeah.
it, you know, stolen car, guy
Yeah.
dying.
Yeah, and then private properties, you know, an added layer of complexity, but code enforcement.
I try not to use it.
Yeah, exactly, but you know, if things are fire hazard or an eyesore, because what ends up happening is somebody sees some stuff's been dumped, sits there a long time. Then the next group of people say, well, it's okay to dump here, I'm gonna throw my old tires here, whatever, and it just, the problem grows, so we don't want that either, you know,
Yeah.
and we love our open spaces, that's
We
what we
do.
like about doing out here, right? So it's
Sometimes
not a
there's a
trash can.
volunteer group that will get a dumpster and then the area gets cleaned up.
Yeah, yeah, so those are our resources, to address those things. So,
Yeah, it's all county. None of this area is private, but I do know that there's other areas where that same thing is occurring on private.
Yeah.
Further south,
Yeah.
north.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Okay, anybody else have comments?
Didn't step up, over Gary Overall for the record. Couple of issues I've had. Special use permits, the wording needs to be more specific because I'm dealing with Chewy, who ripped into Mr. Woodley over him using Title V on their special use permit because it said loading and unloading, and all he did was go to Webster's dictionary and said, Woodley, did you see anybody loading and unloading trailers? Well, to me, the trailer is being unloaded off of the trucks. He's talking about taking cargo out of the trucks in the parking lot. His name is Seb. I'm the lawyer for Chewy. Says there is no backup alarms happening. That is a falsehood lie. There are backup alarms on the KW, AW trucks. They're pulling in nightly, every night, 24/7.
We hear it every night, Carol.
You can hear it?
Every night.
You
It
know?
starts about 11.
Oh, it's
Late.
you don't hear it during the day because you have that, but once it starts it, after the things quiet down, you can hear it all night long.
All night long.
So,
Beep, 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 beep.
thank you.
Yeah.
So, yes, he went after him, but he said there was no backup alarms. I can definitely guarantee it, and I have cameras, I have sent it to Woodley, everybody else, okay? So it continues on, and if your wording isn't specific, they just railed you, okay? And there was no defense. City of Reno didn't even put up a goddamn fight, they didn't even have
Okay.
a lawyer on their side, they had some
Okay,
fill-in guy,
okay,
okay?
bring
So-
it down,
I
thank
don't
you.
care, they can hear me loud and clear, okay?
Yeah, no, I hear your frustration.
Yes, so
Mr.
the
Gary,
other thing is,
Mr. Gary, I told you before, I'm sympathetic, but you need
okay, I'm
to,
just talking,
that's fine.
I have a loud voice, sorry.
Yes.
But the one thing about it also, going back to the traffic issues, when, like this high school lets out, I was late tonight because there's a crash right up here on the corner turning.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
Okay,
we're
we got all
aware of it,
stopped.
yes.
But there was rollovers at Red Rock, this week.
Yeah.
I was
Somebody
out.
died.
Yeah.
Okay, ladies, please,
Huh?
no.
Catherine Egan for the record. This isn't a full, when we have public comment, that means one person who states their name and they get 3 minutes to themselves. And it's not a group conversation and that we need, even though we want to be neighborly, the point is if we have 20 people and all talking at once. So it's one person talking at one time and it's not a discussion. So not to be rude, I'm sorry, but otherwise it's a light crowd here, but imagine when there's 20 people here, 30 people here. So I'm sorry, I don't want to be rude, but you have 3 minutes and thank you so much, sir.
Okay, thank you. I'm just, the traffic's bad. Okay,
Okay, Corey Bond, I will say it, we discussed this. Ladies, we understand, we're sympathetic, but we're only an advisory board. We, other than Councilwoman Ebert, we don't have any authority. And I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but that's the way we have rules that we have to follow. And so again, to back what Ms. Egan just said, we're not trying to be hard about it, but we have to be respectful and follow the rules. Yes, ma'am.
Councilmember Ebert, for the record, Gary, just for your, address some of your concerns. I am trying to work on the wording on the special use permits. I am speaking to the city attorneys and trying to work with city attorneys and city manager and find out how we can change the wording on those permits so we can avoid the problems that they're causing currently, so that these things don't happen in the future. And I know that that doesn't solve the problems that you're dealing with currently. And I know that you and I have spoken, there's other things that we're trying to work on for your specific situation, but I just want you to know that in general, I'm trying to make those permits better so that it doesn't affect other people in the same way. And also that, you know, I'm working to get your specific neighborhood some relief from the noise and light, you know, through the appropriate avenues. It's taking a long time. Nothing happens overnight, unfortunately, except for a lot of noise and light, but you know, things are happening, so, you know.
Gary Overall for the record, just what I'm trying to put across is when you write a special use permit, specifically state what you want to make happen. Because that was, he had it washed up, he had it wrapped up in 10 minutes.
But,
You know,
and
and then there was no public comment during that hearing, even though they said at the beginning of the hearing, there would be public comment. It didn't happen. They moved right on.
Point of order.
Uh,
How often, I'm sorry, point of order, how often are the audience members allowed to speak during the public comment period? I thought it would just be once.
Mr. Briscoe, I'm trying my best to control it. I'm trying to be polite, so I understand your issue.
Thank you.
Okay,
I just, again, Councilmember Ebert, real quick, just want to let you know that this body does not issue any kind of special use permits. That's something that happens through planning commission, and city council, but just so that you know that this board does not issue any kind of permits. This is just a place where, developers and different groups come and discuss different proposed projects and other things that are happening in the ward, but this body does not issue any special use permits or anything like that. So just to let you know that this body is not responsible for those permits.
okay. Tensions are a little bit high. I'm just gonna say, for now, unless anybody has anything, I'm just gonna call for adjournment.
Is there anyone on Zoom who'd like to give public comment? If you'd like to give public comment on Zoom, please indicate by using the raise hand button at the bottom of your Zoom window. There's no further public comment, Mr. Chair.
Chairman, I move we adjourn.
We did.
Okay,
No, I'm sorry, John Briscoe.
okay. Second,
John White seconds.
all in favor?
Aye.
We're done.